So you take a bunch of it and then you kind of tickle the tip. Yo. So you can Christian. Sorry, Andy.
How's everything been? How's lockdown been?
Well, we're out now, but lockdown was so... You know what? It was not that bad, in my opinion. How about for you guys? How did you find it?
I found it like I had fun during this not fun, but like I really got into routine, and then I got like into a really good flow where it was just consistent. I was just like stable. I was just like really consistently happy throughout this whole period. And then I was just in this neutral, solid state, and I just really loved the consistency. What about you, Krishn?
Oh, lockdown was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I did enjoy lockdown. It wasn't bad, you got used to it. But in saying that, I can see how it might have it definitely did affect Kylee, obviously, Glam with Kylee, get ready with Kylee, Glam with Kylee would have affected you. And yeah, so like New South Wales has finally got out of lockdown. We have made it. We've done it. Today is episode 56, and we have a very special guest on with us today. We have Kylee. Thank you so much, Kylee. So
thank you for having me.
So we'll let Kylee introduce herself, what she does, everything, etc. But Kylee is a mutual friend. For me, it's a mutual friend. We've only met once, but Kylee runs a business. She runs her own business, and we'll go into depth a little bit more about that, but I'll let her talk about it as well. But yeah, so Kylee, what do you do? How do you start your business? What is your business? Talk to us.
Okay, so I'm a lash artist. So I've been in the beauty industry for about, I would say 6 years now. So I'm like 5 or 6 years, give or take. So I'm 20. So I've been doing this stuff since I was 14, 15. Yes.
That's incredible. 6 years.
I feel old now. I feel old. Like, I'm usually like...
You're older than me though.
Because I'm 22 at the moment.
Oh,
usually I'm like the young hitter, but you're like 2 years younger than... And 2 years is a lot. So like, I'm really like impressed. That's like doing super well, but continue.
So I've only really been like serious, I guess you can say, about my business for 2 years. Now, so I started lashing 2 years ago, but I've been doing makeup for like 5-6 years or so, yeah. So yeah.
In the last 6 years, were you sort of like doing makeup on like Instagram or like, what did you do at 14? Yeah.
So 14, it was more so like with family and friends, that kind of stuff. So Instagram wasn't really a thing, I guess, back then, like for businesses. Like it wasn't really an essential tool, I guess you can say, but now Instagram's literally like the world. So yeah, so I was just all family and friends. And then I would say when I was about 16, I started taking clients that weren't family and friends. And then when I was 17, 18, I was in senior high, so I wasn't in it as much, but I was still doing it. Like it's just a side thing because I've never really worked an actual job for somebody. I think
I've so American. Senior high, like not only the American accent, but you say stuff like senior high.
You guys said that when you first met me too.
Yeah, you got the American accent. Like, I guess you just got that from like watching YouTube when you were young, I guess.
And I'm Filos, so like yeah. So like my parents, besides my dad, my parents' English is very like American, like very hard R's. And
you pick up on it. You're young. You pick up on it, right?
Yeah.
It comes to you, 100%.
Filipinos are really good at English. Like I have a lot of team members from the Philippines, and like that's where you get all the customer service team. Like everyone there's just good at English. Why is that?
It's just so I was actually born and raised in Australia, but it's taught in school. Everyone knows how to speak English, or at least like the bare minimum of English, I guess you could say. Everyone just knows like simple English and stuff because a lot of tourists go there to Philippines. Yeah, so you kind of do need to know, but it's taught in schools.
Yeah.
There, so yeah.
So 17, 18, you're you did school in New South Wales, right? So you would have done HSC, HSC.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing your HSC, you're doing it as a side. And like you said, Instagram, you were what? You said 14 when you started. Instagram wasn't a thing. We're talking maybe 12, 11, like early sometime there maybe.
2014, so I was 14.
2014. Okay,
Yeah.
2014. Sorry, I'm just giving random years. Okay, I am trying.
Wait, are you born in year 2000 or 2001?
2000. So I'm actually turning 20. So technically, I'm 21 next month.
Next month. Wow, look at it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Got it.
Lucky 21 out of lockdown. 21 out of lockdown. Imagine 21 in lockdown. Oh no.
Oh, no.
So 17, 18, like you mentioned, Instagram wasn't really a big thing, and you're right. Like in the past couple of years, you've seen so many pages come up that are doing their businesses on Instagram, and it's such a great way to market it because Instagram is like, well, we all know what Instagram is now. Like it's evolved from its early days to what it is now, where you got influencers on it, you got celebrities on it, you got a way to connect with people, right? And I like you can tell us about it a bit after as well in terms of the traditional way people would usually go get their lashes done. Would it be to go to? Okay, look, I'm no expert in the beauty industry. I don't know absolutely anything. Okay, so forgive me for my ignorance.
It's okay.
So, what my knowledge is, bare minimum, is you'd go to a boutique and you'd get it done at a boutique essentially, and you'd make a booking with them, etc. And it's like getting that done is you have to call in and everything, and there's only a select few places that do it, and and then you'd have to like open up your own place, get your own place. But everything's evolved now. Instagram's here. A lot of pages do it. A lot of people do it. What inspired you? What inspired you to get into the beauty industry? I know you told us that you love doing lashes. What inspired you to do it? What inspired you to open up your Instagram? What was what were some challenges you went through? Talk to us about everything about that.
So, with the beauty industry, my whole life, I've wanted to be a nurse. That's so Philo.
Yeah. In America, especially. Oh my God, that's such an American philo thing. But dental assistant.
Yeah, like I think it's like the most easiest way to be in a professional field. I guess to a lot of Filipino parents, especially, and obviously my parents came to Australia. What my mom did, and this is just like with any. I feel like immigrant parents, they always they come from their country to Australia or to like a better country, and they expect you to do something in like the medicinal field or something like that. Obviously that wasn't the case with me, but anyways, back to what I was saying. So I wanted to be a nurse my whole life. My whole purpose, I guess, was I wanted to help people. It's so corny.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so I just wanted to help people, and I just thought that was the easiest way, I guess, to go about it. But coming to, I guess, the end of year 12, I didn't give a F about school. Like, I just stopped caring. I don't know why. I still did okay in HSC, but and I still ended up getting into nursing as well, surprisingly. But I didn't feel any passion around what I was doing. And I got into nursing, and in my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do beauty. It was a joke in high school because I was always the one making their costumes. I was always the one doing their makeup, their hair, everything. Like when we had school discos, things like that. And I was always that person to them. And it was an ongoing joke in school that I was going to do lashes, because around the time I was in year 12, a lot of people started doing lashes. It was like starting to become, not a lot of people, but it started to become popular. And a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, I want to get my lashes done, blah, blah, blah. But obviously being at that age, it's quite expensive. So a lot of my friends would have like a ongoing joke that I'm going to start doing lashes so they can get free lashes. That was the joke. It was really a joke. Like I I was gonna be a nurse. That was my plan. Like I was so set on that, and I got into uni for nursing and stuff as well. And then we had the long break. I did a couple of makeup clients during that time, and then I got into UTS, and we started later, so like Marchish. So everyone's in uni, and like I was so excited. Everyone's talking about uni, and then I got to uni, and I hated it. I hated it so much. I was like, I feel like my whole life I was so sheltered in like high school and primary school, because I went to private school up until senior high, and then I was in public school. And apparently the public school was still meant to make you feel like you're in uni, because we didn't have uniforms, stuff like that. Like my public school, it was meant to feel like uni. But the transition was insane. Like I didn't take it well. And I was on the way to uni. I was on the way to work actually. I worked in the city to do pickpacking for a little bit.
What's pickpacking?
What's pickpacking? Like warehousing.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. Textbooks actually. I was doing pickpacking for textbooks. And I was on the way to work, and I was like, I hate this job. And then I went into this like epiphany mode, and I was like, you know what? I actually hate uni. Why am I doing this? Like
I hate uni. I hate this job. What am I doing?
I hate my life. What am I doing? That was literally me on the train. And it was 3 days before census date. And everyone was telling me when they first met me, like my classmates and stuff, they were like to me, you know what? Like, you'd always come to school, like it's 8 a.m., you're like face done, fit on point, and everyone else is wearing pajamas. They're like, are you sure you're meant to like be here right now? Like, aren't you meant to be in like, I don't know, beauty? Like, I really look like a beauty student. That's what it looked like. So a lot of people were asking me that. And I just, like all of these things, like people were telling me, my GP, I went to get my blood test done because you have to get vaccinations before you can be a nurse and stuff. Like, I just needed to check. And she was like, why are you doing it? You shouldn't be a nurse. Like, look at you. Like, she was kind of like, it was like,
How many months in was this? How long into uni?
Oh, this is embarrassing. 3 weeks.
It was she said 3 days before the census date, so that's like what, March? Yeah, so that wouldn't have been.
I was not in it for long, and I had an assessment due by the end of that week, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna drop out before I have to assign this.
Yeah. Let's go. That's the reason. That's the reason why you started Glam With K, right?
Because of the assessment, that's why I dropped out of uni.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so it was 3 days, and I was like calling all my friends up, and I was like, I don't know. And it's actually a big thing because obviously that's just like the way life is. Like, you go to school, you go to uni, and then you get your full-time job, like traditional way of life. And that's all my parents knew as well. And besides my dad, actually, but I'll get into that later. But it was actually the day before the census date, and I was like, I'm dropping out. I didn't go uni that day, and then I went downstairs. My mom was in a bad mood, and you know how I don't know about you guys, but I always tell my mom things first before I tell my dad, because my dad's scary. Yeah?
100%.
Yeah, but my mom was in a bad mood. So
you never approach your parents when they're on a bad mood. No.
But it was the day before the census day. I didn't want to pay anything. I was trying to be big brain. So I went downstairs and I just raw dogged it and told my dad. And I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying. And now that I think about it, that was so dramatic. Like, I was like acting like it was a movie. Like, it was not that deep. Like, even though my parents didn't talk to me for like 2 weeks, but like still, like, it wasn't as bad as it seemed. And then
your parents didn't talk to you for 2 weeks after that?
Like, it is
a movie. This feels like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the main character.
I'm the main character.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, like, not that they didn't talk to me. It was just tension. It was obviously not. Yeah, like, yeah, I just told them, and then my dad was. I guess they were more upset about the fact that I didn't have a plan. I was just doing it because I didn't like it. Like I just wanted to drop out because I didn't like it. And then I told my sister. She didn't talk to me for 2 weeks, it was actually really hard on me because my sister is actually, she's a musician. So she
Older
went
or younger sister?
older. Yeah, so she went to she didn't want to be a doctor, so she went to music school. So it was kind of the same thing. So I felt like I was really alone during this time because everyone was just in uni. And then my parents were like, there's like tension and stuff. There was no plan. And I guess what I was most upset about was because I just wanted to make my parents proud. And in that moment, they looked so disappointed in me. So disappointed. Like I'm getting emo thinking about it. Because the look on their faces, I was just
like doing a role reversal. It's interesting how you mentioned it because everything that you said kind of resonates with, I'm sure, with what Andy went through as well. And, going through, being from an immigrant family, all three of us as well, as you hit the nail on the head. You go to uni, you get a job, and you do everything, right? You go through the paces and, that way you're safe, you're comfortable and everything's there. Yeah. But what's interesting to me is that you had an older sister who took that leap. And yet it was still a bit of an issue with your family. Like, is that because they just thought that musician is like completely different to the beauty industry, and it's like, is that what it is?
I think so. My sister, she's actually been doing music since she was little. So she's been playing piano her whole life. And I guess also in school, you're taught music. Yeah. But you're not taught beauty. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that was my parents, and it's very new. So I can see, like, I don't know, maybe you guys have your preconceived ideas of the beauty industry because you're not exactly close to somebody who does or is in the beauty industry. So a lot of people, I guess, they get confused. And I guess that was my parents as well because they knew I did makeup and things like that, but they didn't necessarily know how much can actually come out of it, but they were really disappointed in me.
You know what you do now? Like you mentioned how much can actually come out of it. You turn around and you point to that light behind you. You're like, yeah.
This one right here. Mm-hmm. No, my parents, I'm like the golden child now. Now, even though I was the one that dropped out of uni, so it paid off. Main
character vibes. Truly living it.
I can relate to that, yeah, because like for the longest time, my two sisters were like the favorite child, and then like I just kept doing my thing, and like now my mom just like flexes me to all other family friends, and it's like a bit ironic, but I remember I was in year 6, and in year 6 there was this thing called the selective test. I don't know if you guys know it. It's like a test to get into like a selective school, and I got like a low score. I got like 190. And then my mum, when she, like, I logged in, I saw the score. I was like, oh shit, I got 190. That's like, I guess, a bit average. And then we told my mum to come in, and she looked at the email and her face just sunk. And like, I just looked at her and she was just like disapproved. And I remember that night, after that, I just went to my bed. I just slept that whole day, didn't have dinner. I just stayed in my bed for like 2 whole days. And it was just weird for like 1 hour. And I was like 12 years old. I was like 12 years old. And I think I definitely picked up a lot of those traits. Like I probably low-key do that to my sisters. Like if they do something and then I'm not like really impressed, I might do it the same way. So hopefully I don't pick up the traits and do it to my own kids. But that's a whole different topic. One thing I wanted to ask, what's your thoughts in lockdown? Is it important to dress up, do your hair, have a cold shower every day, even if you're at home and no one's going to see you for the whole day? Because I'm sort of 70% I do it. Like most of the time I just get ready just because it's like gets me into the zone and just in case I do go out. But a lot of people, especially during lockdown, they don't really give a because no one's going to see them all day. What's your thoughts on that?
Personally, so I find a lot of my self-confidence comes from those things. So I guess it just differs from person to person. But I know for you guys, like, I don't know, maybe you felt ugly without your haircuts.
Oh,
Like,
look at this. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, I was
Got my
gonna say,
haircut.
you
New
look a
person.
bit different from your other podcasts, you know?
Yeah. It got bad. It was really bad. I know exactly what you mean. It was bad.
Yeah, but like me, like I didn't have. It sounds very shallow, but I didn't have lash extensions, and I felt so ugly. So it really comes down to person, but I guess also because when I work, I actually don't get dressed up and stuff. Like, cause I work at home. Yes, but I guess in lockdown, I did do it a lot. I did get dressed up. Like I like to do my makeup and stuff like that. I think just because the fact that you're just at home and you're just in an environment that's, it's like a place of rest.
It's like you're at home, you want to feel comfortable and everything, and then it gets to a point where, you do the same thing every day. Like every now and then you'd go out, you dress up, you go out, but when you're at home, you wear the same thing every day. It kind of just wears on your mind as well in terms of your work ethic, and you kind of just slump. I felt that, and then I just put on a shirt that I'd usually wear outside instead of wearing at home. Like, yeah, look, new day.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Like, being in a place where that's your place of rest, it's gonna have a toll on you, especially if you're in that state and environment for 3 months straight. Because it had a toll on me, regardless of the fact that I enjoyed lockdown. It did have a toll on me because I work from home. I'm at home all the time, and then I couldn't go outside because of lockdown. So it basically just felt like I was locked inside the whole time. But I liked lockdown. Like, I'm just saying, like, disclaimer, I did like lockdown. I wasn't against lockdown or anything, but yeah, I do think maybe I do that once a week. I think it was important to kind of get dressed up and like feel nice. And not that you were just always just, I need to be sleeping right now. Like, why am I? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Affects your mood. You're not working hard, etc. Yeah, I get it. Did you want to say it?
Yeah, I was just going to say, over the last 3 years, after you sort of dropped out of university, how have you found meeting new people? Because I think I remember when I dropped out, it was like hard to meet new people. All of a sudden, I was no longer in the clique. I was no longer, like, I wasn't in any of the societies. I only knew the friends I met since high school and university. Maybe one of them might have like birthday parties, and I'll go to their birthday parties, and maybe I'll meet 1 or 2 new people. But yeah, how did you find that?
It's because I literally went through that. Like, I really resonate with exactly what you said, because I was really scared that I was not going to make new friends. Like, I really was like, how am I going to meet new people? How am I going to make connections? And mind you, at this time, I guess Instagram wasn't the biggest that it was as well. Like, it was still big, but I guess I didn't take that as a tool to, meet new people. Because, you're always taught that meeting people online is dangerous. Like, you know what I mean? So I really resonate with you. I did find it really hard. But I guess when I started taking clients, especially people I didn't know, I guess that's how I started making connections. And also, just when Instagram started getting big, the beauty industry is massive. There's so many people in it. So in terms of that, like in terms of work, yeah, I did struggle for a bit, but eventually got into it. But in terms of like just socially, my parents were really strict too. So it's not like I could go out and drink. The people I was allowed to see was only pretty much the friends that I had. And my parents were still also a bit iffy with the fact that I was going out, and they just didn't want me to be a bum. Like, all I was doing was just like going out. Like, I didn't even have a job or like a proper established work life yet. I wasn't even in uni. So they were really worried about me. But yeah, I found it really difficult until maybe like about last year. So
oh wow, quite recently. Yeah,
really recent. Like, you guys, like, I only met you guys last year because of
mutual friend.
Early this year.
Friend, yeah.
whatever.
Exactly. So it's just like, and that mutual friend I didn't meet until like last year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it was from a friend that I already knew, and half of the people I knew at that party, I already knew. So yeah, it was hard.
I think like that was like the point where you started like figuring out yourself and who you are as a person, and you really like pushed down on that, and all of a sudden you're able to attract all these other similar people. I think that's probably what happened. You like figured out who you are as a person, you figured out the type of people you want to hang out with, and yeah. One thing I wanted to ask, when I was younger, I used to like buy and sell things on eBay, and when packages would come to the house, my mum would be like, where are all these packages coming from? People are gonna know our address, someone's gonna break into our house. Like, why are you giving all these strangers your addresses, ship things to your house? What is it like for you having clients come in and out?
In terms of my parents, how they felt about that? I mean, so my parents have had like catering businesses. So they didn't really mind too much. Like, I guess what really was scary was COVID. That was the only thing that they had an issue with, like people, because some of these people we don't even know. Like most of my clients, like half of them I don't know. Some of them I don't even like. Some of them just found me off of Instagram. Some of them just found me off of TikTok, things like that. Like that was the only problem. But in terms of everything else, like they were pretty chill with it, which is surprising because it's like Asian parents, but also I guess because they just wanted me to get clients. They wanted me to have work, so they were
Each
just
person
like,
that comes in is a dollar sign.
yeah. They were like, yeah, yeah, but yeah, they were pretty okay with it, surprisingly.
Do you think, is the reason why people get their makeup done by you, is it either A, they sort of can't do it themselves, they're not that skilled, B, they just want to save time, 3, they just want someone that's really good at it, 4, it's like sort of like a, like they come there for you. You're sort of like a, because I know a lot of people who make bespoke suits, a lot of the people come for the experience to talk to the suit maker. They get the suit done up, they have like a cup of scotch, and it's like the experience.
Do you think that people come, like, do you have people that just come to you for the experience now? Like you have a long list of, you know, regular clients now that come through to you, and like, has that been like, you've slowly seen that increase as you've come through as well? Or is it like, you get a mix, like, you know, your regular and your new clients coming in all the time, etc.?
So at the moment, at the beginning it was mixed, but now it's both. So predominantly regulars. So I have, I think, around 40 to 50 regulars now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And eyelashes? Eyelashes, like, when you do the eyelashes, do they sleep with it and everything, or do they detach it when they go to sleep? Okay, cool. I don't know.
So eyelash extensions, it's, because I feel like you guys don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't.
I do, yeah.
Is it like you buy like eyelashes and you sort of like glue it on your eyes?
I'll show you guys. I literally have trays here. So,
I know mascara.
mascara. So this is a tray of lashes.
Okay.
And basically what I do, I feel like I sound so shallow right now.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So basically what I do is I take these lashes, I make like a little fan on it, from it, and I put that on one lash. And every single lash I do that for. On both of them. Yeah.
Whoa, each one is one hair, one like string.
It depends. So, okay, so we're going to do a little lash lesson right now.
Yeah.
So, there's something called classic lashes, and then there's volume. And so classic lashes, that's the most natural you can get pretty much. So it's 1 hair to 1. Let's do ratios.
Oh.
Yeah, 1 to 1. If you get 2D volume, it's 2 hairs to 1 lash. Yeah, to 1 natural lash. And then so on and so on.
that makes sense. So like thicker,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the higher the number, the thicker it is. Anything past 9D is
Holy shit.
mega volume.
Oh, so what's the
90.
ones where people like, you see it's like a whole lash and they just stick it on? What's that?
That's falsies. That's what I'm wearing right now.
Oh, falsies. Got
Yeah,
it.
they're falsies. So false lashes. Yeah.
And
So
obviously you tailor the experience in terms of the pricing as well, because I'm assuming a 1-to-1 would take a very long time, right? So you tailor it according to
yeah. So 1-to-1 is actually the cheapest set.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would take the longest?
Anything of so mega volume.
Right.
Yeah. So anything.
Oh yeah,
above
9-to-1. Yeah, that makes
9-to-1.
yeah.
So you can actually buy pre-made the fans, but I make it on the spot. Yeah.
Holy shit, that's incredible.
Mhm.
That would take a long time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
actually, when I first started, it took me 6 hours to do my first set.
Yeah, wow. I'm just thinking about it as well, because if you fan each one, and if it's like a 1-to that, yeah, my
What
god.
does fanning mean? Or what do you do when you fan? What does fanning mean?
So these lashes, right? There's like a bunch. There's like maybe I don't know how many is in one. So basically, you take a bunch of them, and you put it on with tweezers, yeah. So you take a bunch of it, and then you kind of tickle the tip,
And then like with that whole glass thing, how many eyes can you do with that box you showed me?
Wait, let me rephrase what I just said back then. Sorry. So basically, you kind of with the tip of the tweezer,
You just like
the strip is sticky.
right.
Okay, so I'll take it off the strip and then put it back on.
Yeah.
So it's separated from this line. Okay.
Mm.
And then I'll take my tweezers and the tip of it, I will kind of like run it through the bottom of the lash.
To make it like
Yeah.
pop.
And then it'll open up. And then you take your tweezer and then it's really hard.
It's so intricate. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about like because I have fat fingers, so like when I try to do something so intricate, I'm like, I can't do this. Or like I can't imagine how much precision you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. God
You
damn.
also need a really good back because you're like this. So I take on average like 1.5 to 2 hours per client.
Do they lie
depending-
down on a bed? Or are they like sitting next to you?
Yes, they're lying down.
Okay, cool.
Guys, see?
Ah, whoa, that's sick.
Yeah, so they're lying down on the bed, the lights on, give the full experience, have music playing in the background, Yeah.
I
Do you have any
love
guy
this.
clients? Do guys come through ever? Do you have any guy
You know
clients?
what? I asked our mutual friend if I could.
They would like one.
Yeah, and you know what?
Do
he
it.
said?
I'll pay for it. I'll pay for that.
No, I actually want to do a guy. It would
Krishn.
be so much more harder though because you guys have so much more lashes.
But then, so would a guy look weird if his lashes are like popping?
Yeah. You know what? Actually, no. You know what? Who cares?
Each to their own. There's no defined beauty standard. Let's stay that out there. But we'll move on. Excuse me. I did a bit of a deep dive into Glam With K's Instagram to
Oh my gosh.
research onto the guest. No. It's a good thing because I saw a post that I wanted to ask you about, and I thought it was a really cool post because you're very vulnerable and you're very open, and you probably know exactly what post I'm going to be talking about.
I'm pretty vulnerable in most of my posts, but
No, because say most of them are just like the end product or like the actual glam. So a few questions, right? So within the beauty industry, obviously you decided to enter it. Firstly, how would you go about did you go about differentiating yourself? Because your page is quite nice. You have a theme, and the theme is quite consistent in terms of the photo that you show with the lashes, right? And I feel like, to be able to be in this industry, you need to do things different. You need to try new things. You need to be able to get new customers, right? So how is that, like, finding the creative, like, trying, what was your creative process and behind it, and thinking in terms of, okay, how do I, try and get new clients? What can I try to do this, and, to make my page pop out? Because you're very nice, comfortable sitting on followers, 1.5K, right? It wouldn't have been easy. You don't grow that from nothing, right? It's hard work. I understand that as well. But yeah, what was the whole process?
And then Krishn, give context on the post. Or what's the post?
Yeah, the post was 8th of February this year. 8th of February this year. So that's my first question. Differentiation of your business. Okay, remember that before I go into the post. So the post is, you were talking about what we were speaking about earlier, how you said that, you completed your first Lash course in 2019. You thought it wasn't a big achievement in comparison to what everyone else around you was doing, because, you grow up, and like you mentioned, you grow up and you're essentially told to go to university. You wanted to be a nurse. However, you obviously took that brave decision to not do it. And you're talking about, how it was hard, it's hurdles, because you're starting a business. You would have been 18 years old, and you would have been thrown into such a huge life decision, start your own business. And you're very vulnerable in the post. And you mentioned, you a lot of hard nights in terms of trying to come around in the business. And then, you're talking about, people can look down on the beauty industry, but they don't understand that it's hard work. And, it's fair enough. Exactly what you're telling me is fair enough. And it's a testament to you in terms of the hard work that you put into your business as well, in terms of being able to succeed. You also mentioned that, education means a lot to you. And I think in this post, you've started doing courses.
Yes, I know what post you're talking about now.
Yeah, you see the post. Yeah, so that's crazy. So you started off with nothing, and now you're doing your own courses. You got your neon sign behind you. We gotta. If anyone's listening,
you guys have to come visit so you can take a photo with the sign.
I'll come visit with our mutual friend in handcuffs when he's getting his eyelashes done. Okay. When they're getting the eyelashes done. So yeah, like, you mentioned that education is important. So you're teaching now. Is that correct? You're teaching now. So that's crazy. It's crazy how you've been able to evolve from, I'd say, a young, naive, like 18-year-old to be like, I mean, you're still so young. You know what I mean? We're all still so young. But like, I don't know. For me personally, it's ridiculous, because I personally can't fathom it. I can't see myself, at 18 being like, I'm going to give this a red hot go and do it. So talk to us about how your business has evolved. How did you find a niche, like differentiate yourself, and then the teaching? Yeah, what made you want to start teaching in terms of starting your own lash course?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the differentiation thing. Yes, let's start there. Okay, so I actually, when I first started, if you scroll all the way down, my Instagram feed was not cute. It was just a bunch of photos.
See, that's what I mean. But now you've curated it to be like, you've got your own thing, yeah.
Which is, it's actually funny to me, because I only thought about differentiating myself until recently. Only because there's such an influx of new lash artists in the industry, which I think I'll touch on later. But in the beginning, bottom line is, most people come to you if your work is good. That's bottom line. Your Instagram can be absolutely beautiful, but then your work can be not as nice. But obviously, if you put two and two together, your work is nice, and also your Instagram feed is nice, then obviously it just puts you all the way to the top. But in the beginning, I was, just pumping out photos just to gain clients. So it can go either way, I guess. If your Instagram feed is nice, obviously that's going to catch the eye right off the bat, because it's your portfolio essentially. But yes, so in terms of differentiating myself, I guess my differentiating was my style of lashing. Because everyone, anyone can do lashes. Essentially, you can literally teach anyone to do lashes, but having your own flair and knowing like, oh yeah, Kylee did the lashes for sure. Your lashes were done by Kylee, I can tell. I've had a couple of people go to like their brow ladies and stuff, and they know that that's my work. You know what I mean? Like things like that. I guess it's just finding your own taste and your own style, and also how you can translate yourself through your work. That's what I really wanted to focus on, and also what I would like on myself personally. So I really like this. I don't know if you guys are gonna understand, but like a wispy lash.
I don't. But you just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like a wispy style lash, and I felt like not a lot of lash artists did it in the way that I wanted it to look. So if no one could do it for me, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it for people. And I guess that's how I grew, because my style of lashing was very, I find, individual to me. So
I love that.
Yeah. So
lashes. Like right now, do you have the lashes you do for yourself underneath the false lashes? Is that how it works?
No, so you're not meant to be wearing false lashes on top of extensions. I'm just wearing falsies right now because I just wanted to wait a bit before I got my extensions done. Just kind of bathe in the naturalness of my face before I, get obsessed. Yeah.
It will be more efficient because like lockdown, everyone's going to be going out. So you might as well wait until that happens and just go hard. Yeah. But continue. Sorry for cutting in.
Oh, no, that's fine. But yeah, that's the whole differentiation thing. I guess I wanted to, so the whole reason behind me starting my business was because I wanted to create services, luxury services that were still affordable. So if you actually compare my prices to the industry standard, I'm very below. Really little. Like I only charge, for a handmade artist, you could easily charge over 200 for a set. But wow. I charge below 150, my most expensive set. Yeah.
I was looking on your website. You have a breakdown of the different types you can get, and it didn't look that bad,
Industry standard is quite high. And I'm obviously my goals, you're naive, like what you guys were saying, like when you start your business, you're so naive. You don't know anything. I didn't know anything about business. I actually did business in high school and I failed the subject. I failed business in HSC, so you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But that's not to say that, you can't learn business. No, it's just learning from the books, right? So
I was just
of course. You're young as well. You got there's the whole time to, experiment, try things out, what will work and what doesn't. So, you're coming out of COVID, you probably got a lot of bookings. Are you going to be teaching any courses anytime soon? Like in that post, you taught 2 people, I think it was. I don't know how many people.
Actually, so with the courses, that February 8th, I was still trying it out. I didn't know. So that was just like kind of a trial. And I did another class, I think, just before lockdown, or like a month or 2 before lockdown. So I am in the process of just rejuvenating my whole learning experience. I really want it to be different. I really want to have a different approach when I get into teaching, so that obviously my students, I just want to create a generation of lash artists that are extremely talented, extremely educated, and extremely different and very true to themselves. So I'm really in the process of really just buckling down and dissecting and really getting into the nitty-gritties of it, because lash courses, they generally only go for like 2 to 3 days. And when you think about it, if it's like cram studying if you do it like that, because there's so much to know about lashes. Like obviously to the outer perspective, you guys just think, not you guys, but like generally, like people just think it's just lash extensions, but it's not. Like I said, a lot of stuff goes into it. There's a lot of things that you need to know. I actually went to TAFE for beauty services. So, like there's like things like that, like infection control. There's so much you actually need to know other than just the application. and people don't know that. So like I said, like I really want to make sure that the courses that I offer are pretty much perfect. So I'm hoping January, fingers crossed, that's when I'm going to start. But yeah, that's that for the course.
Love it.
I think that's like the absolute like right mindset, being like consumer centric, making sure that you give like the best possible course for like your students. And I really love how like you're just all about like the experience, all about taking a step back to make everything sort of really, really good. One thing I wanted to ask, how long will it take until someone comes back? So for example, I get a fresh cut every, say, 3 weeks on average. How often do people come back for eyelashes?
2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I do about, like I said, I have about 40 regulars. So they usually come back twice in a month. That's how I get booked out. Sometimes they'll go to 3 weeks. It all depends on their lash growth. Like I said, there's like a lot of stuff that goes into it. It all depends on them as an individual and their obviously natural hair cycle, stuff like that. Yeah. So every 2 weeks. So that is how I actually get booked out every month. Yeah.
How does the fake lash, or how does the implant lashes, or wait, what's the correct term for them?
The extensions?
Extensions. How do the extensions play into the eyelash growth?
So your lashes shed. So your lashes come out with the shedding of your natural lashes. So depending on your lash growth, let's say you have a really fast lash growth cycle, your lashes will come out quicker. So you would have to come earlier for an infill. Or there's other factors. For example, if you have oily skin, it's going to break down the ingredients in the glue. So your lashes are going to fall out quicker. Things like if you smoke, your lashes are going to get singed at the top. So you would have to get that fixed. Or if there's weather changes, for example, in autumn and spring, your lashes fall out quicker because it's getting ready for the new season. Things like that. There's a lot of different factors. So it's really depending on the person and how well they take care of their lashes, things like that. But generally, it's 2 to 4 weeks, that they'll come back. Yeah.
That's incredible. So, like, coming out of lockdown now, like I'm assuming you'd be fully booked. Surely you're fully booked. You've got to be fully booked. Yeah.
For October, I am.
For October. That's incredible because, like...
And, first 2 weeks of November.
That's great. Whoa. Booked out for the next month. Damn.
Next month. And it'd feel pretty good to, get back into everything, you know what I mean? Yeah, finally
first
get some
week
lashes
back
on
was
people.
insane.
Oh, wow, yeah. I was going to say, how'd you manage it?
How many clients do you have a day?
So I try to cap myself at 4 if it's full sets. Infills, I'll usually do 5 to 6. So I can easily work like a 13-hour day. That's what I was doing first week back.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Is there a lot of talking or is it pretty silent? It's like getting a massage.
It depends. So I have this thing also, it's like, if you don't want to talk, it's like a silent appointment. You basically just have to ask for that. I saw it, someone did it, and I thought that was a really good idea because some people come and that's their me time, like moms and things like that.
I love that. Just consider it, that's incredible,
and that's what I mean. Like the experience has to be so tailored to your clients or else they're not going to come back. Like, let's say I was up in their face asking about everything, like, and they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to talk. You also have to read your clients. Like, I feel like that's something, like a skill that you need to have. Like, you kind of need to read body language, how they're talking to you. You can tell how they're feeling just by the way that literally just when they first walk there and when you greet them, you can tell straight away what kind of experience you're going to have to give to that client. And obviously that comes with practice because I've just done so many people, like hundreds of people through like the past 2 years. So yeah.
Interesting. And then is it sort of mentally like exhausting? So one thing I've been sort of dealing with is like days where, let's say, I do a podcast, I do some strategy sessions or consulting calls, do some sales calls. It might only add up to like, say, 4-5 hours of like just talking and listening, but I'm like drained. I wouldn't be able to imagine doing like 13 hours of that, but maybe it's different. What's your thoughts?
So actually, when I first started, it took a toll on me mentally and emotionally really bad. So I don't know what kind of relationships you have with your barbers, and that's my only point of comparison that I can give for you guys. But I know with a lot of lash techs or girls' nail techs or their hairdressers, it's their only place where they can unwind, because most of the time you don't have mutual connection with their friends, so they come to you. And I would hear really sad stuff.
Oh shit. Okay.
All the time. I would hear it. And at the beginning, I was actually working 7 days a week. And I was fitting in as many clients as I could. And I do makeup on weekends as well. I'm like a assistant makeup artist. So I was working 7 days a week, and I was going TAFE. So like all these people, you know, telling you stories, you got your own shit going on, you're going TAFE, you're studying, and you like bottles up inside of you, right? Like, it's
God.
So exhausting. Like what Andy said was so right. Like 13 hours of that. Like sometimes, well, now it's not as much because I have regulars. So it's kind of like they're just updating you in their lives, and then they're like fall asleep in like after like 30 minutes. It's just like that, you know. But when it's in the beginning, when you're like trying to get to know your clients, and you're really, obviously, I put so much effort into trying to make a proper clientele and lash artist relationship, because that's how you gain regulars. Because how are you supposed to have regulars if you don't have a good connection with the client? So in the beginning, it was so hard. I would cry some nights because of the things that you would hear, like obviously confidentiality, so I'm not going to say, but the things you would hear, like it was so heartbreaking. And you would take that home and like to sleep, because you couldn't tell anybody about it because client
confidentiality, 100%. So like, you know, you're doing all this, and like, I guess one of those things where I think I've read it somewhere, or I've seen it somewhere, where you have to have like a clear, definitive line and a distinction between, you know, I am your lash artist, I am not your therapist. Have you ever had to like explicitly state that, or do you have it somewhere in it? Like, obviously for your regulars is fine, but you know, like say, obviously you got a busy day ahead of you, and a new client starts unwinding like that, and it's a very important, because you know it's quite intimate. It's like, you know, you're sitting over their face and they're talking to you, right? So like, in some sense, they just feel like they can just get everything off their chest, because they don't have, say for example, some people might not have other people to talk to, and as a result, they go to the lash extension artist and just splurge, right? Like, have you ever had to like be like, I'm your lash artist, or like, do you have it in like fine print writing somewhere down in the booking?
No, actually I don't.
You're too nice. You're too nice.
I feel like, because like that's just experience. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like, yeah, it might be mentally like I've learned a lot to become like emotionally resilient and not take it. I guess it's just something you learn over time. Like obviously when you're first starting out, you're gonna just take everything to heart. Like you're just like, oh my god, like even if somebody didn't like your work, I would like, if somebody didn't come back to me, I would cry about it, because I was just like, was I bad? But that's what I was saying about the whole experience thing, that if you're really there for them, like they can feel it, like they can really trust you, not just with their face, but also emotionally. That's kind of it can go either way. It can be a bad thing and it can be a good thing. It just depends how you take it. And I guess I just learned over time that they can open up to you, but it doesn't mean that you have to take it to you, like to your heart, because that's how you get like emotionally drained. And that's also why I cut down on my clients, and like I mainly just take my regulars now, but I still take new clients and stuff. But I try to keep the talk very positive when they first come in, so the conversation doesn't necessarily drive that direction.
You're like, it's crazy because you would have just like, wanting to start this business, you're super keen, and then like all this stuff comes at you, and you're just like, no, I'm just doing your lashes, like, you know what I mean? So like, you built your resilience over, I'd say, a period of say 1 to 2 years or something, right? So it's like, wow, yeah, like that's something that I genuinely like I've heard of, but like it's crazy that when you mention it, it's like, yeah, wow, I have nothing to say. Yeah.
And
then on the weekends, when you do the assistant artist, tell me about that. Is that something you're doing to build up your skill set and learn a new thing? Or do you want to sort of reach a different customer base? Tell me about that weekend gig.
So the weekends where I'm the assistant makeup artist, I actually use that just at the time to make like just to breathe in a way. I find makeup is very therapeutic for me. Not that lashes isn't, but lashes is kind of brainless. You don't have to think. You just, I mean, no, like I'm just thinking about me.
It's like, because like, yeah, you've automated yourself to the point where you can just like.
I'm just like a robot sometimes. Yeah. Like I know what I'm doing. But it's kind of a breath of fresh air because I have to, kind of think a bit like, oh, I only do makeup like once every 2 weeks. It's a new face every time. Not saying that lashes isn't a new face because obviously it's catered to their eye shape and stuff like that. But with a face, it's like you're looking at the whole face and you're focusing on changing the whole face. So not changing it, but enhancing the whole face. So you're working on a bigger real estate other than just 2 eyeballs. You know what I mean? I actually use makeup to unwind.
It's like bigger real estate for your creative side.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, speaking about your creative side, it's incredible. You have a textile. What's going on here? Is this a new potential avenue? Because you're doing lashes, you've established yourself, you've done that. You're doing makeup to unwind, and that's sick. Like you could potentially incorporate it into your business, but that means obviously longer hours, more clients. It's like, how do you manage all that? And that's something obviously you'll have to navigate through, and no one else can do it except for yourself, right? But this textile thing. So what happens if that's something that you really want to get out? Because it seems to me that you're just like a creative. Like a mastermind in terms of some things that you envision something and then you can do it, right? So like, what's this? Are you gonna take it up seriously? Talk to us about that, like the textile thing.
So the textiles, I felt like I just wanted a place to, because I make a lot of things too. Like I sew a lot of my clothes. I make a lot of costumes, like around Halloween. Like this is my favorite time of the year. Like I love Halloween. Like I love making costumes and stuff. You probably already saw. I did Katana last year for Halloween. I also did Cameron, and I was working on a couple of cosplays doing mock jam as well. I just wanted a place to dump those things, and I've been asked to do a lot of those kind of like costumes. Like whenever I post about it, people always ask. So I just thought, you know what, maybe I'll just post in case somebody wants to inquire. That's why I had that thing, because I guess costumes isn't as big of a market than lashes, because costumes would be like Halloween time. That's the peak, and then rest of the year it's probably like 1 or 2 costumes a month. So I guess events. Yeah, it's not really that deep. I guess I just did it for fun because it's just like a hobby.
But it's interesting because like you love sewing. See, like it's interesting if you keep dumping photos on there, if you just keep dumping it, eventually it'll gain traction. Surely next year, 2022 Halloween, you'll get some orders in. Hopefully, you never know. Like you just your arms are spread so wide. You got makeup. I don't know how you'd be able to do it, but if you can do that, that'd be sick as well. You know what I mean? Like you can't limit yourself. Wow.
On that topic, what's the next steps, Kylee? Right now you're like booked out all the time. You're working 7 days a week. You're working on a course. What's the next steps?
So actually from the course that I did this year, I gained a junior artist out of it. Yeah, so I have someone actually working under me right now. I'm in her place. That's why we had to split the studio. So I don't actually work here at the moment, just because of social distancing. But I'm planning, fingers crossed, I have someone in training right now to be another junior artist.
Wow. And how have you found the process of transitioning clients to them? Because I know barbers have it hard where like they get a junior barber, but everyone wants the main guy.
Yeah.
Same with the tailor shop. People come for the main guy. They don't want to talk to his like junior. How have you been able to finesse that?
I guess so. The way that it works, because I wanted to be extremely flexible because with my, because I'm assistant makeup artist, right? I kind of wanted the same dynamic that I have with her. So I'm actually not there for her just to wipe her brushes and stuff. I'm actually doing full faces. And I wanted my junior artists to experience the same thing. I'm mainly focusing to make it, I'm like a mentor, if anything. I want to help them grow to be the best people that they can be. And because eventually, they're going to branch off on their own. I can't stop them from doing that, which is sad for me because I get really attached and stuff. But obviously, it's not that hard because they actually have their own clients. So what I do in the beginning is I tell them to take model clients in, and then those model clients eventually become their regulars. And that's what's happened with my junior artists. And they're actually not too fussed. For example, if I'm booked out and someone wants to book for lashes, they will go to my junior artist. Yeah, they will. Because obviously I trained her. So it's the closest thing that they can get to getting their lashes done by me. Yeah.
Interesting. And then how many days does the junior artist come in a week? Or do they come in, or is it just when it's on call?
So it's similar to mine. So she's already booked out for October as well.
Wow.
So she comes in 3 days a week. I try to make it as flexible as possible. I tell her if she doesn't want to work, she doesn't have to work. It's up to her, because that's why a lot of people want to be a lash artist, right? They end up in something like, or for example, I don't know, with Andy, if that was your case, that you wanted to work when you wanted to work. But the reason being is I don't want them to feel like pressured. I don't want to be like a boss to them. Like, I'm just here to be their mentor, essentially. So yeah, she's booked out. She's 3 days a week, comes in whenever she wants. And yeah, because there's a bed here free for her. So if she's not here, it's just empty, but I'm still making my money. So it's fine by me.
Incredible.
That's amazing. If there was Kylee Stock, I'd be buying a bunch of stock, investing. If there was like such thing, like I'm really impressed. And like what you've been able to do is amazing. Massive congratulations, especially at your age and having to go through all the ups and downs, all the, it's tough. Like building your own business, it's so tough, lonely. Yeah. So I can definitely like massive props for like making it this far and just like killing it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And on top of that, like you've literally done the hardest thing that you could, like you've gone through the hardest thing you possibly can go through in terms of COVID. So like, I feel like now that you've like come across this, throw anything at you, you'll be able to be able to work with it. You know what I mean? But look, thank you so much, Kylee, for coming on. I want to echo what Andy said as well. Massive congratulations to what you've been able to achieve at such a young age as well. And yeah, like you can only keep going up. And thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Great episode. Really appreciate your time today, Kylee. Thank you so much for coming on. I think it was really fun. I learnt a lot. I really did. So I really appreciate it. Hope you keep killing it. We'll keep in contact. I definitely want you back on to hear more. I have like so many other questions. But yeah, really appreciate everyone for listening. That is episode 56 of The Flip Side. Krishn, I appreciate you doing this with me. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.